Rock Metal Podcast, episode 247 with Gunrunners. All right, Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was Brothers by Gunrunners. Kind of rhymes a little bit, actually. Brothers by Gunrunners. I've got on the show with me right now. You guys did that on purpose, I'm sure. They've got a new EP called Brothers, which released earlier this autumn in September, and right now I'm being joined by Alex to share some stories about the music and share more info about the band. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely great to have you on. Let's go and listen back to that track, Brothers. All right, come in.
Hi!
This is my little man. He's my assistant engineer. Mwah. You right? You ready to go? Okay, cool. Coming back from Brothers, which is the title track off the EP, kicks off with that groovy bass line. Now, you're the bass player, right?
That's right, I am, yeah.
Groovy. Yeah, I wanted to give you some compliments on that bass sound. It's pretty sick.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. I don't think people realize how much of the bass they're actually listening to when they listen to a recording, but you're definitely standing out there, sir.
Oh, I've certainly had plenty of those sort of conversations.
Groovy. Now, Alex, if you wouldn't mind, what's the story or inspiration behind Brothers?
I joined the band back in April, and the band had written quite a good little set. And when we were listening back to it, we just got in the studio about May time, and I didn't know anything about any of the songs. And so I was sitting there with Jordan, who'd written this one, and basically all he said about Brothers, and especially about Bleed, which is one of the other songs on the EP, was that he'd written them all completely separately. So I chatted and said, well, okay, Bleed, for example, he said, was written about soldiers trying to get an injured mate home, and trying to save him. But the other one that really stuck in my mind was Mask, which is the first song I actually heard before we went in the studio. And that ended up being more about social media, and it ended up being about people, how they show the best bits of performances and they show the best bits of their life and don't really delve into things. So it certainly varies between them in terms of the lyrical styles of Sean and Jordan. But I like that. I like that it doesn't stick to one topical thing. It mixes around now and again and keeps it open for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. When you came into the band, I guess the whole EP was written then, eh?
Well, it was to a degree, yeah. But what we ended up doing is we went to Lost Boys Studios and worked with an amazing sound engineer named Rue. And on the first day we were there, he listened to to everything we had, and basically said, "It's not good enough. Go back and rewrite it." And but it was the best thing he could have said. He could have said, really. He spent a whole week sitting with us, going over the songs. We ended up rewriting them pretty much completely, stripping it right back and rebuilding them all part by part. And now it's something we are so proud of. And it's made a world of difference to the songs and the way we now write songs in the future.
Yeah. Now, with your role in Brothers then, in the track that were title track from the EP, how did the song change with regard to what it was and what it is now?
Well, there wasn't a lot done with the structure for the song. I knew when I joined the group, with at least a few of their old songs, I wanted to really bring my stamp into it. And the main bit with that one really, for me, was to try and get that tone down and try and get it as perfect in my ears as I could. So we spent a long time going through that. But I was very happy with it in the end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go listen to the next track, Save Our Souls.
Save our souls.
Lady, can we pick up this ride again? Dehydrated from the salt in the air, I swear. It never ends with you, I swear. It never ends with you, I swear.
Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. All right, coming back from Save Our Souls, which definitely starts off, at least starts off a more emotional track than Brothers. Same question for you. If you know, what's the story or inspiration behind Save Our Souls?
I don't actually know the inspiration with that one. For me, in terms of performing it live, it does have a very different sort of feel to it, especially in that first opening section. But compared to some of the other tracks we do in the set, it's a very nice way to enter a middle of a set song. I absolutely love playing it. It's been very different to some of the others we've been writing more recently as well. So I like the feel of it. The playing of it is just excellent, and I'd really like to write more songs in that sort of feel in the future.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned it's different than what you guys are writing now. How so?
Well, recently we've started thinking about writing more. We've basically been doing gigs now since, August time was the first one. And we just did an excellent one last night. And now we're at the point where we're going back in the studio, we're rewriting, we're looking at what things we can move about in set. The newer ones seem to be going in two directions. There seems to be more technical guitars, which I'm certainly a fan of, and there seems to be a lot more melodic vocals kicking in as well. So I'm interested to see sort of where it's going to lead us. But I'm certainly very happy with what we've got to base ourselves off.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Now, for Rock Metal Nation who dug the two tracks they've heard so far, Brothers and Save Our Souls, we'll be super excited to know that there is a full EP available called Brothers, which released earlier this year in September. Now, Alex, if you wouldn't mind, when we pick up the EP, what should we expect?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, with the cover, you might expect something completely different to what you actually get. Jordan had complete control of that, and I actually love it the more I look at that. It's fantastic. But the main thing for me is really that kick-off in Mask is just fantastic. Great way to start it. Bleed is a much simpler track, bluesy, nice little kick to it, fantastic. Brothers, as you said, is unbelievably great. I love that song. And Save Our Souls, I think, is really something in its own, and I found it hard to describe that song in terms of the others, but I absolutely love it. I think in a way it stands apart from the others, and it's got its own wonderful feel to it. I would say in terms of the EP for people to listen to, it's certainly one of my favorite things I've been involved in. And I know all the guys have been super happy with the way it's come across in performances. And for something that really we've only been working on since now April, it's something that is surprising us how well it's coming across. So I think it's very promising, and we're all looking forward to what comes next.
Absolutely. Now, the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind is, how can we find out more about you guys? Is there a place we should go to on the web?
Oh, well, there's a few different places. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us through the Facebook as well. Easiest way is to just type in Gunrunners UK on Google, and there's obviously Spotify as well, which I would recommend, just as it's the quickest to get straight to the EP, get straight to listening, and see if you like it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Alex, if there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing Gunrunners with Rock Metal Nation.
Thanks for having us. I was roped in quite late to do this, but I'm so glad I've had the chance. It's been a great laugh, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes up later on down the road.
Nation. Hopefully just found your new favorite band in Gun Runners. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.
Whoops.